Previously in Ottawa.
Rebound, kicks it out. Norris, oh my gosh. Oh, Norris skates it back in the sun. Yes! 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 Who was that? Yes! Yes! Let's go, boys. Let's go. Your Ottawa Senators are going to take a 3-2 series lead on the back of UC Saros. 7 minutes, boys. 7 minutes. 5 minutes. 4 minutes. 3 minutes. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Are you kidding me, Saros, you beautiful beast? And your Ottawa Senators, boys, here in year 3, are headed off to the Eastern Conference Final.
Third period, boys. 20 minutes away from elimination. Someone step up and be a hero. Come on, please, Tkachuk. I am begging you. 1 goal. Power play. Yes! Tkachuk! Tkachuk! Are you kidding me? Yes! 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 Perfectly fine with, right? That was a tripping penalty. The guy got upset. But the rest of them, right? No! Tkachuk! 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 We're off to the Stanley Cup Finals! Tkachuk! Skated out, skating over, looking over his options. Pominville, he's dancing. He gets it to the front. No! Tyler Ennis! No! 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 Welcome back, my loyal citizens of Ottawa. GM used to return, boys, and this time I'm not stopping until this team either makes my heart stop or we finally bring Lord Stanley home north of the border in Canada's capital, where it belongs, baby. Now, I asked you guys if you wanted me to bring the series back, and the answer was a resounding yes. Let me tell you, when I saw the responses and enthusiasm from the fan base and analysts, it put the biggest grin on my face, boys. Let me tell you, I'm unworthy of you guys' support, alright? But having said all that, I don't want to drag this intro on too long, but first there is a comment that I wanted to address before we hop into it. It is from Ottawa Legion, and it reads, "You might be the only person in the world who feels bad about this. If you want to get the series going, it'll be a labor of love, my man." True words were never spoke, baby. The question is, will you enjoy making it and engaging with the community? Keep it real, buddy. Sins Cup 2024. Whew, hope so, my man. I hope so. So, in my as far as like the only person who feels bad about it, like in my eyes, no matter what you guys say, I feel like I definitely dropped the ball on you boys the way the series ended so abruptly, and it was poorly communicated. But at the same time, I don't want you guys to think I'm bringing the series back as an apology or because I feel obligated to. Franchise mode in Shell has always been my second favorite mode behind ESHL. I've always enjoyed it, and ever since the series ended, it's it's left like a bad taste in my mouth, and franchise mode hasn't been quite the same. So rest assured, I'm doing this for myself as well as for the great people of Ottawa. I won't consider my apology complete until I hoist Lord Stanley himself. Alrighty, sorry about the long intro, boys. Let's get into it. So I decided the best thing was to start the series in NHL 20 with all new rosters, ratings, and new features like coaches and team meetings. Now with that being said, let's take a look at your year 1 Ottawa Senators. See what we have going for us. Might have our work cut out for us. And on one hand, like it's definitely not undoable. We have some good prospects. I love Branny. I think he's going to be a beast defenseman, offensive defenseman. If you look at his deking, offensive awareness, and especially his skating, oh my gosh. Like this kid is a #1 defenseman. Kachuk feels criminally underrated to me in this game. I was going to make him better, but at the same time, he's only 19 years old, medium elite. Like, there's no reason to really boost him that high up. I'm excited about guys we didn't have in the last franchise mode that we're going to get a chance to see this year. Colin White, I'm excited for him. We have him locked up to that, what is it, 6-year, 4.9? Yeah, $4.9 million deal already. Formanton, we never saw him. Norris is in the game. I added Pinto and Docker. We got Brownie back. Thompson's a new addition. Zaitsev. The Duke of Ottawa has returned. I changed Batherson to a low elite. I guess you could argue that all the Sins prospects, like some people say some things about guys like Formanton, Norris, Brownie, we argue on their ceilings, but the general consensus among us is that our best prospects by far are Branny and Batherson. Batherson not quite on the scale of Branny, so I gave him low elite with Branny taking medium elite. Now, if we're going to make this rebuild work, I'll show you boys what's still complicated about it. Look at this. We have one skater in our entire organization, Thomas Shabbat, that is above 82 overall. If we want to make this rebuild happen without it taking 4 or 5 years, we're going to need some homegrown talent, like on the NHL roster, to become piece of our future. Colin White, I'm not too worried about. I think we can grow him without too much effort. But guys like Tierney, Brown, Duclair, we're going to have to like do our everything in our power to make these guys grow as much as possible and hopefully keep at least one of them around it. I'm hoping two, but that might be a little optimistic. I'm pretty high on Duclair. Brown, he could be a good addition. Tierney, we'll see. We have a lot of depth at center. We don't have a lot of depth on the wings. I'll go ahead and show you boys the wings here. I added prospects and players, but I didn't want to add like every single player, like just to make them grow, you know. So I made sure to add the main ones. Abramov, Balsers gave him a little boost. Formanton, we don't have a lot of depth on the left wing. There is a left winger in the draft this year. Could help us out a little bit, but we'll get to him. Right wing depth looks like this. We got Duclair, Batherson, Brownie, Davidson. So it's decent. It's not great though. Defensively, I'm not too worried about defense. We have Docker, who should be ready in 2-3 years. Thompson, 3-4 years maybe. Lajoie, he could be good this time around. But as long as we have Branny and Shabbat like as our 1 and 2, as long as we have like decent players as 3 and 4, like I'm not worried about our decor at all. It's going to be huge. Now here's our most interesting situation, boys. Our goalie situation. So I didn't want to make it so that there was just one starter, because each of these goalie prospects, like I see something in every single one of them, but I don't think any guy has emerged as the clear goalie of the future just yet. So what I did was I gave them all their own individual ups and downs. With Dackard, he's the oldest, so while he has the lowest ceiling, he has the highest overall. Gustafson is somewhere in the middle, and Sogard has the lowest overall as the youngest, but he has the highest ceiling. So when it comes to our goaltending situation, I don't know. I have no clue who our goalie of the future is, right? It could be any one of them. It could be none of them. Man, I'm missing Saros already. Having that number 1 goalie is huge. But our clear goal for year 1 is to tank. And on that note, it feels great to start this series off with the first round draft pick, unlike last time. As far as the Sharks pick goes, that's our pick. That is 100% our pick. And no matter where it ends up, first, second, third, it's going to be our pick. But the Islanders pick, let me know what you guys want to do with that. Because in the original Pajot trade, I believe it was top 3 protected. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Top 3 protected. So if it lands anywhere outside the top 3, we could call it ours. But if it's like 4, 5, or 6, we could say it was top 10 protected. That sounds a little more reasonable to me. And we could just take their first round pick next year, trade for it 1 for 1, just to make it fair. I don't want to make it too unbalanced, but this draft class is loaded. If there's I made sure to load it up. This is one that's supposed to be one of the best draft classes in NHL history, so I made sure to beef it up, right? I'll go ahead and show you boys. Lafreniere, this is the Lafreniere year. Losing for Lafreniere, that's the plan. We all know it. Yeah, Lafreniere, Byfield. I gave Stutzel a boost. Drysdale. I don't know who this kid is. And then you have some computer-generated players. Dorian Marchment. We need a right winger in our system. We need that number 1 right wing. We also we need high-end talent, man. We need high-end talent, especially at center and right wing. Raymond, Holtz, Marchment, this Allen kid maybe on the left side. Ponomarev, he could also be someone. Lundell, Perfetti is also in here. Yeah. Rossi. So it's just a loaded draft class, loaded. So I'm not going to be doing any simulating in this video. There's a minor trade I want to make and a signing, but that's about it. First, I'll go ahead and show you boys our coaching staff for year 1. Our head coach is going to be Mr. Lucas Baker. Now we just need to find the butcher and the candlestick maker. I like this actually. He's not the greatest coach, and that kind of plays into what we're about in Ottawa, just because we can't go out and like pay the top coaches, right? So if we're going to find a coach, it has to be the right guy, not necessarily the best guy. The assistant coach, Landon Kearns. There might be some coaches in free agency we can hire, but I like this guy. His roster scheme fit. He loves Shabbat and Kachuk. The only guy he's not high on is Duclair, but maybe we can make that work. Or maybe Duclair just isn't fit for the team. I'm hoping he is. We need the more NHL talent we can keep on this roster and not have to trade away for picks and prospects, the better. But we'll have to feel that one out. The minor league coach is actually really good. So I did say there was a trade I want to make, boys. I will go ahead, do some power video editing, draw that one up real quick. Alrighty, boys, I got our first trade drawn up here, and I know people are instantly going to see I'm breaking the golden rule, right? When you're rebuilding, never trade away picks or prospects, but there's a reason for it. Let's not forget we're Ottawa. That means we have a smaller budget than other teams, and that affects our scouting department too. This year we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks in the first 2 rounds. So we don't have the scouting depth to be able to send our scouts everywhere, get everyone in the draft scouted, which means for the majority of the year, especially in our situation where we already have like the quantity, we need the quality, I'm going to be focusing almost all of our scouting efforts into the first 2, maybe first 3 rounds of the draft. So the chances of finding a good player in the 4th, 5th round of the draft are already very slim. And then when you factor in the us having a very small scouting staff, it's even slimmer, right? So I don't feel that bad about giving up a 4th round pick. And the reason I want this kid, Alexi Sorella, he just seems perfect for the fit of our team. I don't necessarily mean his play style. I mean his underdog kind of outcast. He's an outcast. He was drafted what? 2015 New York Rangers, got traded to Carolina, Chicago, Florida, right? And now Florida wants to get rid of him. He has that perfect underdog mentality that I want our team to have. Like that's kind of our identity. We're the underdogs. We're like the outcasts basically. Like that's just kind of always been Ottawa, and I like it. We'll play to that identity. We'll pick up guys who play to that identity and who can thrive. We'll give them a home, and hopefully hopefully I know what I'm doing here, and that can play to our identity. He's a center. I know we already have a lot of central depth in the AHL, but we can easily move him to the wing, and this will beef up our minor league squad. So I think it's a very solid move. Analysts, let me know if you don't want me trading away any picks like this. It's a bad idea. Won't do it anymore. The way I see it, 6 picks in the first 2 rounds, like losing a 4th will not hurt us. Proposed trade, will it go through? I am happy to accept this proposal on behalf of the Florida Panthers, and we consider it a done deal. Okay, so I wanted to make that trade not just for the purpose of picking up a player that, a prospect, mind you, a prospect. He's only 23, plenty of time to grow, low top 6 potential, but it also clears up a roster space. Let me see if I sort by puck skills, is it? Yeah. If you guys remember from the last time, I picked this kid up, Oscar Mahler. Does it show his stats? I have Fog of War on, so we don't have him fully scouted, but you see his offensive awareness is already an 86 overall. He's 30 years old, but as long as players put up good stats, it doesn't really matter what their age is. They can still grow. And last time I did the franchise mode, I scouted this guy out. I added him to the team, and then I never gave him a fair shot in the NHL. So I'm going to try and do right by him this time. If he makes the roster this year or next year, I'm going to give him a fair shot. Power play time, maybe like a look in the top 6 while we're tanking, something like that. There we go. We'll add you to the lineup. I don't want to do any simulating in this video, boys. I'm just giving you the lay of the land, showing you the roster, the coaching staff, letting you get familiarized with all that. I'll go ahead and show you boys the lines real quick before I end the video. They aren't going to be whatever they are here, just because I haven't touched them yet. The plan is to play guys like Batherson in the AHL, maybe call him up for a couple games. Yeah, Balser's definitely going to be AHL. Branny is probably AHL, at least to start the year. Shabbat, Zaitsev. Yeah, see, even with all the talent we have in the AHL, man, like, these roster spots aren't going to fill themselves, and we can't spend money in free agency. That's just not how Ottawa does things, especially with Melnyk at the helm. We're going to have to keep guys like Duclair, Brown, Tierney, at least some of them around, and they need to find spots and roles in this lineup if we want to be successful. I guess I'll about wrap it up for the first epi, boys. Ottawa, baby, let's go. I'm pumped for this. I'm so excited for this franchise mode. Let me tell you, boys, it just has not been the same for me. Like, ever since that series ended, it felt incomplete. I want to get a cup in Ottawa. Like, it. Let me know what you guys think about the first episode, and I will see you all in the next one.